Okay, so if you ever worked on cars, been around cars a lot, you've probably heard or said this. But I replaced just about everything, and it's still making that noise. So here I am with the 2002 F-150 4x4 in a similar situation. Pretty much everything in that front end's been replaced over the past few months. New brakes, new rotors in the front, new shocks all the way around, new bearing/hubs, new ball joints on the front on both lowers, upper control arms on both sides, outer tie rod ends, the center steering tie bar, and the idle arm's been replaced because it was rubbing on the frame. And that's pretty much it. And after all that stuff was done, the truck was driving great, with the exception of every once in a while there'd be a little bit of a sort of like a clunk in the steering wheel. You could feel like the steering wheel was being compressed and expanded as you brake and go, sort of like an accordion. And it was almost like the lower ball joints. I said maybe I screwed something up, so I jacked up the one end and put the plier underneath the wheel just to check and make sure the new ball joints were good, and sure enough they were. Anyway, over time this kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I kept thinking to myself, what can this possibly be? And the one conclusion was it's got to be the lower control arm there, those bushings. I mean, what else would be causing that front end to slide forward and backward when you brake and accelerate and put pressure on that steering wheel, that steering column? So finally it's getting so bad I decided to get the old magnet cam out. It's a little sports like GoPro kind of camera and put it underneath the truck, and that's what you're seeing right now. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I found out. I'm just curious to see if anybody else agrees with me. Okay, so I'm going to do a hard brake here, and you can see what happens with the suspension. There you can see it. Of course, you can't really see what's going on with the bushings there, so we're going to go ahead and take some close-up shots of those. Okay, so here we're looking at the underside of the vehicle. That is the left side, the driver's side. That is the rear bushing on that lower control arm, so the rear bushing, if you will. Just going to take a short cruise down the driveway and hit the brakes kind of hard so you can see how much movement is. You see quite a bit of movement there. And one thing you can't tell from this video is you're hearing that compressing accordion type scrunching sound on the steering column as this is happening inside the cab. It's kind of hard to record that, but there's quite a bit of play there, as you can see. Okay, so here is the right side, the passenger side, the rear. There's quite a bit of movement there too. I didn't think there would be quite as much because it always felt like the vibration of the movement was coming from the driver's side, but looks like it might be proven wrong in this case. It's pretty severe, probably as bad as the other side. Okay, so let's be thorough. Let's take a look at the front of that lower control arm. This is the driver's side. We're getting a bit of movement there, front to back as well. And finally here is the front to right side. Lighting's not so great here, but you can get the general idea. Well, if my assessment's right, I guess I'm going to have to go and purchase two of these lower control arm ball joint assemblies. I guess the good news is the ball joints are already in there. The bad news is I've wasted money on the two ball joints I've already put in. But it's a good lesson learned for me. I spent hours watching YouTube videos trying to learn how to do this myself. And everything I did I felt was appropriate and needed to be done. I just happened to miss this one thing because really all the videos I watched, no one ever had a problem with the lower control arm. So anyway, I'm curious if anybody else agrees or disagrees with my assessment, and if you've had any experience doing this yourself, especially with this F-150 that has that torsion bar there going into the lower control arm. I guess it's going to add a little bit of a complexity to it. Please post your comments below, and thanks for watching. And if I ever get around to doing this, I'll hopefully post a video. Alright, take care, cheers.